Yeah, as long as we don't hit the caves on this floor, we'll be in good shape. Now that's really all I needed Quick Fort for. I normally don't use it for much of anything other than uh, my bedroom level. Basically, I'll pick a bedroom level that I like, and this is one that I use fairly regularly, and that's what I'll get. Now, if you want to go smaller in terms of X, Y, and deeper in terms of Z, then you can get more efficient housing. If, for example, I trimmed all of this off at the inner layer, and I went down another floor and I did the same blueprint again, and I trimmed off so you only had the inner layer again, and I went down another floor and I trimmed it off again and did the same thing, that housing would actually end up being more efficient than this all on one floor. But I like being able to have one hotkey that goes straight to my bedroom floor, for example, and not having to pick through my bedrooms one at a time. Now, obviously, this is all peasant housing. This isn't going to work for nobility because they're going to expect all sorts of other furniture that we don't have, room for in these. So we're going to have additions to this where I'll have a noble wing off to one side, for example. Um, if you've never used Quick Fort before, especially for doing something that's very repetitive like digging bedrooms, I highly recommend going out and snagging it just to do it. We'll go ahead and exit, and while they're doing that in the background, let's come out here and I'll look at some of these other designs, because some of these things are awesome fractals and such. So, here's designs that people have used in various forts along the way, all sorts of different styles and shapes, depending on what you're using and how you have in mind. This is kind of a fractal design, if I'm not mistaken. There's a Mandelbrot. These fractal designs can be incredibly efficient. This is a shaft bedroom design, so this is on multiple floors. You would, do one and then go down one and do another one and go down one and do another one. And basically, they'll be around a central area at that point. The windmill villas, this is what I was talking about. If you kept just the inner part, it would be more efficient, smaller, tighter. Same thing. All these, lots of different designs depending on what you want. So it's worth looking out there if you've never done it, just to have an idea of what other people have done for their bedrooms if you're not feeling particularly creative. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the Quick Fort package also comes with circles of various sizes. So if you want to build a circle of 31 size, for example, or a 15 size, you can do that with Quick Fort as well. It's just easier for me to do it with Dig Circle and a hotkey. It's quicker and faster, and it doesn't mess up my hotkeys while it's active. So the miners are working. We've got a bunch of idlers. Who's idle? Let's see. Our hunter has no job? Really? No job for the hunter? I gotta take a look at that. That can't be right. Our stone crafter has no job. I don't buy that for a moment. Our smasher is haulers, and they don't have anything to do yet. Our mason just has to be between jobs. There's no way that that's a permanent state of affairs. That's much better. There we go. Now everybody looks like they're doing something. What are we doing here? Our hauler is hauling. Good, good, good. Everybody's doing something. It's not bad to have some idle time for your dwarves, but too much, especially when your population is low, means you're not getting enough done for your time. You've got to realize it's a hostile world, bad things are on their way, and if you don't get up and defended and set up, they'll arrive before you're ready, and Dwarf Fortress pulls no punches. They'll come marching in, trash your fortress, steal your stuff, kill your people. So let's talk temple. So we'll just set up a fairly basic, circular room with pillars kind of temple here as the generic temple. And we'll have to figure out what we want to do for our god of lust and depravity and wealth down below in the deep. Oh, you know what? I don't know that we picked the right civilization when we embarked. Oh, damn. Ew. We may not have the right gods. No. Don't had the pause on. There we go. At the very least, though, we need to dig the generic temple regardless. I disagree. Sea forts are not the best forts. Not for my frame rate, they're not. Thank you for the donation, Anonymous. That's awesome. Much appreciated. Well, the lack of trade rep has just got to do with our first caravan just basically took off and ran away. They didn't actually come to the fort. I think they got hit by the naked mole dog and decided that they were under attack and left. At which point we had to deal with the damn thing because it kept roaming around and the dogs kept getting into it with it. So I'm thinking it was the naked mole dog that caused the departure, the unexpected disembarkation of our first caravan. Because they stepped off right quick and we got nothing. Kind of a bummer. Alright, one little tile there, but they'll figure that out. Okay. So as soon as that's done, I can dig this as a zone, throw in some, define it as a location, have it smoothed up. Still gotta get rid of that one tile, though. What did I miss? Miss a notice here before I was paused? What did I miss, CleanoDev? You must have caught something I didn't see. What am I missing there? I'm not seeing anything that's critical. Alright, so now we've got our basic defenses up. We should have everything moved indoors now, I'm thinking, I'm hoping. Yes, okay, so there's nothing in the smelter and only a couple of shields left in the carpenter's workshop, so I'm going to burn both of those down. The yellow sand I can care less about, we'll get rid of it, and that leaves only the trade depot on the surface. We'll need to pull some of the dogs back for breeding stock and start throwing up some traps. I got the there's no outpost rep, but usually you still get a usually get a trade, but there may have only been one settlement for this. I may have embarked as the wrong civilization, in which case there may not be enough settlements to sustain our population from our homes, our home faction, if you will. There may not be enough settlements remaining for them. Home civilization? It's not quite right. Now, if you don't mind your dwarves having a slightly unhappy thought from having all this mining and smoothing going on all around them, you could start installing your dwarves directly into their bedrooms, well, now, really. Since we still have so few, I'm going to get by with it for a little longer. I'll get a little more of the mining done before I start building bedrooms in, and with the more clear space, I won't get anybody's sleep interrupted. That's alright. We'll make do. If it is the case, then something changed between the between the pre-crash and the post-crash, because we definitely had trade caravans the first autumn before the crash, and after the crash we didn't get one. So something changed in the outer world, if you will. A settlement may have gotten conquered that didn't get conquered the first time, for example. Let's check on our stocks. How are we doing here? Got plenty of drink, got plenty of food. Good, good, good. Still going up. Need more population. God, we need dwarves bad. Need people to fill all these bedrooms. Okay, so there's 2 floors. What do we make this? Bars and blocks, bins. So this is going to be forge. Now, I don't know how much material we have left, because when we look at our stocks, we don't yet have a record keeper. And so, I can't tell which bars we have here. This could be bronze, this could be copper, this could be tin, this could be coke. Actually, I think coke is probably under a different section, but that's all right. Even if it's not, I'm not sure what that is. So I don't know necessarily that we have enough materials to make the things I'm going to ask for, but we're going to try and make them all anyway. Okay, and that'll get him cranking away. Get our armor cranking away on armor. Ooh, we've got a noble promotion. Our Stonecrafter has become... Let's take a look at what he likes, just in case he decides to go on and become a baron or something here. What do we got? Chalk, electrum, turquoise, crystal glass, none of which we have. Giant ulm, kenaf fabric. Gems, at least we can do. Shields, thrones, buckets. None of those are difficult to make. That's good. This would not be a bad person to choose, although crystal glass and turquoise and chalk and electrum would be rough.
Spring is upon us.
Almost there. I'm hoping we'll get some migrant waves, because if we pick a civilization that doesn't have anybody in it, I'm going to have to start over, guys. I'm not going to sit here and be the last remnants of the dwarven civilization. I want to show you migrants and trade and all this other stuff. Would make defending the sieges a little more interesting, though, wouldn't it? And they're coming into the home stretch. Alright, now at this point I could probably develop the western side of this no problem without having any interference from the miners. So at this point I turn planning mode on because we're never going to have as many doors as I'm going to actually put on the map. And basically every spot that's a bedroom gets a little door in front of it, and we'll do that. We'll do one quadrant for now, because we don't have that many dwarves yet. And then once we've finished that quadrant, we'll go back and add in furniture. So each one of those little test tube shaped areas becomes a bedroom, long and thin, with a door. That's probably almost enough right there to handle all the dwarves I currently have, because we only have like 17, which is not very many. And that right there will handle all the dwarves I have, and then some. And if we need more later, we can come back and put that furniture in. For right now, I want everybody hauling furniture. See what we're complaining about. Still the moaning and groaning about the brewing because of the pots. That's alright. Well, the elves come to visit at least. Maybe we can get some exotic animals out of this. Yes, I can check it in Legends Viewer, I suppose, but it won't tell me what my civ is. I mean, this doesn't necessarily guarantee that the civ we got. So Ono Idith, the Mirror of Systems, is not the one I had in mind, but that's alright. Cal, what am I doing? I can bring up Legends Viewer over here. Duh. Yeah, so apparently we belong to the world's smallest tribe of dwarves here. We are on the edge of extinction at this point. The one I wanted was actually the one above that, the glowing armory. What our those aren't nearly as exciting deities. Damn it. We'll wait till we get a visitor that has the appropriate deity, and then we're going to make a temple to his deity, and everybody's going to worship in that temple whether they like it or not. I was hoping he'd implemented the ability to take the stuff out of the bin and bring just the items if he wanted to do that, but it doesn't look like he has. So we'll have to bring the whole weapon bin, and we'll sell some of the weapons that we've created, and then we'll use that hopefully to buy something good, something nice and exotic, like jaguars to defend our entrance or something. Want to buy giant desert scorpion mated player? Please send tell.
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work.
Can't do that there.
No.
No doubt they're complaining because somebody moved a rock in their way. We can go back and clean up this basic bedroom failure.
I can't do it. I just can't.
They'll complain they can't build something while standing on something else. furniture is going in, and our mason will start cranking out more furniture to replace what we're taking out of the stockpiles as we go. So we're getting our first bedrooms built, we're getting our first furniture installed. That's good. Our masons are currently too busy to come help us with what we need, so we need to get them unbusy for a moment. Okay, so that's got us established then for that. Wonderful, wonderful. So now we've got a dining room. You can see that in the rooms section. Just off size alone, before we've smoothed anything or done anything other than thrown in some rough stone furniture, we've already got a great dining room. So, a few more tables and chairs of reasonable quality from our mason, and we can, knock that one out. Or we can smooth the walls, and we'll be up to a good quality from there. Worst case, we can throw in some engravings, or we'll end up with some high-quality items we can build, like grates and traps, for example. Speaking of traps, let's go back downstairs to our forges and get our glass industry up and running. While our weaponsmiths are cranking out weapons and armor for our dwarves and tying up all that metal, we really can't be using the metal for the traps, but what we can use is glass. Glass makes discs, discs go in traps. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, I know that the current version of Dwarf Fortress has a bug with trap components being built or triggering on goblins. I'm hoping that that's not the case here. We'll save our game before we start building these. I'm not sure of all the details of the crash. So hopefully that's a new bug and not one from this version, but we'll build our stuff with glass discs in the meantime, and if it worst comes to worst and we can't get it back or whatever, we'll start over and do it right, I guess, or something. We have our saves from seasonal, so we can always go back a little bit. Actually, let's do this differently. Let's do this with a profile because we're going to have a whole lot of stuff here. General orders do not test this shop. That's okay. General orders can test this shop. We want to queue up a large disk. Actually, that's not going to work. We want to do numbers of 3, so we want to do 30. So you'll notice this doesn't trigger because we don't have the refined coal here. We've used most of the coal in the production of our bronze to date. We've got bronze metal armor, for example, that's probably using up what little coal we probably had left. That's okay. We're going to kick off the disc job, and then we're going to queue up one of these that basically, or a couple of these that are basically going to be full-time glass color or sand collector. And with that furnace full, it'll basically spend all its time doing nothing but collecting sand for the other furnace to use. That will generally keep the work orders on point. It will also fill all your bags if you do that. So when I come back, I want to see if we can do powders to in the workshop manager to manage how much sand we have on hand as well. In the meantime, I'll let these guys run on... Uh-oh. Oh, it's a buzzard. We don't care. We'll let them do their thing for a minute while I do something else. Hold on. Now, obviously, I have to give them a sand collection zone, or the sand isn't going to work. That's okay. Because this floor happens to be built out of sand, and the stockpile here will actually keep the sand from being covered over, I believe. All the people traipsing up and down will keep the sand free of moss and allow us to constantly harvest it. If you're concerned that you may have it mossed up, as it will, and that's happened to me in the past, you can remove your zone, for example, from there, and come up here and put it on a wall or touching a wall. They'll count the wall as a viable sand collection spot, and they'll basically collect sand from it. Now, unlike the real world, they can collect sand from that same wall forever and it never goes away, so at that point you have an infinitely replenishing supply of sand. So, let's see, now we need a bag, and we don't have any bags. So, where does that leave us? We have food production, we have drinks. We never created our drink stockpile. We never created our food stockpile. Oof. Now we're going to try, and let's see, 31 would be 16. Nope, gotta go 17. Alrighty, and that area will be our eventual pasture space. The one we have now really isn't big enough for our sheep long term, but we needed something short term to get them indoors and underground.
I can't do it.
What happened to the bronze discs we told them to move to the depot? That was the whole point of having bronze discs to move to the Elven traders, was that we were going to buy stuff from them with the discs that told them to move their discs. Pity they didn't have another grizzly bear. That would have been nice. A pair of grizzly bears would have been just flat out awesome. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and buy the grizzly bear if we have enough to do it. Not seeing a whole lot of real value here. I was looking for seeds and I'm not seeing any. Oh, is that what I did? Told them to go to the wrong depot, thinking the elves would use the closest one like smart people? Yeah, okay, that figures. Yeah, I think we'll see if we can't get a few more mugs in there and see if we can't buy ourselves a grizzly bear and a reindeer for slaughter. Nope, not fast enough. Ah, bummer.
We come here in hopes of a better life.
Okay, now everybody with a useful skill to the left, everyone with no useful skills to the right. We'll get you all sorted out in no time. Let's see, you're a fisherman. Now this is going to be kind of like The Simpsons. Frontline infantry, frontline infantry, frontline infantry. And I'm demoting him straight out because he absolutely has no disease resistance. And while they may be able to train their agility and their toughness and their strength and their endurance, disease resistance is not something I can train. And I'm not taking somebody with a disease resistance of 1. First time he gets injured, he's going to be a walking plague case. Realistically, I should probably reconsider Mr. Cog here because he's got a agility of 0, but that will come up once he gets trained a bit. They'll eventually get much better at it, so that I can deal with. Okay, so now we have 10 militiamen waiting to be outfitted. We need to make sure we have weapon metals incoming and our forge fired up and ready to go. So let's check in on our defense. And we are permanently suspending all of our bronze jobs because we must be out of bronze. Or fuel, possibly. Let's see. Collect sand because we need zone. We got the zone. Maybe we're done with all the tasks I asked for. Did not have them on repeat? Nope. Nope, they're definitely there, but we're still in checking mode, apparently. Checked daily. Yes. Ah, it's the refined coal. Right. We have no fuel. Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment, because this is what we would run into early on if we had come in. Because we're doing this on bars, we're going through more fuel than I normally would have. We would have done this all with ore. We would have had more bronze with less fuel requirement. However, we've now run out of fuel and we have some bars left over. So in order to get through those and in order to be set up for our industry a little further on, while we're waiting on a magma industry, we're going to get a wood charcoal burner industry going. And on that note, we're going to have to harvest some more wood because we probably don't have enough upstairs and we're probably running out overall. Yeah, we're getting a little low. So the elves may not be real happy with us, but you know what? They didn't want to sell us anything good, so piss on them. And we'll turn on both the wood stockpiles, so we will start moving wood indoors.